coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has received the National Economic Council's recommendation that the tax reform bills already sent to the National Assembly be withdrawn for further consultation. In a statement issued on Friday by Ononuga, Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, said President Tinubu commended the National Economic Council members, especially Vice President Kashim Shettima and the 36 state governors, for their advice, but believes that the legislative process, which has already begun, provides an opportunity for input and necessary changes without withdrawing the bill from the National Assembly. While urging the NEC to allow the process to take its full course, President Tinubu welcomes further consultation and engagement with key stakeholders to address any reservations about the bills, while the National Assembly considers them for passage. He said when President Tinubu set up the Presidential Committee on Tax and Fiscal Policy Reform in August 2023, he had only one objective: to reposition the economy for better productivity and efficiency and make the operating environment for investment in businesses more conducive. This objective remains more critical even today than ever before. He said the committee worked for over a year and received input from various segments of society across the geopolitical zones, including trade associations, professional bodies, different ministries and government agencies, governors, traders, students, business owners, and the organized private sector. Ononuga quoted the president as saying that the tax reform bills that emerged were distilled from the extensive work of the Presidential Committee, which aims to streamline Nigeria's tax administration processes, completely overhaul the nation's tax operations, and align them with global best practices. And still on that, tax analyst has lauded the National Executive Council's demand for the withdrawal of the tax bill presented before the National Assembly by federal government. International tax analyst Oji Phillips Oji gave the commendation while speaking with correspondents in Abuja on Friday. He said the collector of tax cannot be a judge of itself. He advised the federal government to establish independent revenue generation commission to address lapses in tax collection in the country.
Lacking our tax system. Meanwhile, my memo I wrote about 5 emails is the reason what they reasoned and be able to come up with what they communicate their governors, and the communique was sent to the presidency and the bill was ordered to be withdrawn. I'm not far from that withdrawal because I'm part of the discussion on what to make the Nigerian people believe in government, because the government is all about the government and the people. Whatever you are doing in taxation, you do not carry the people that are paying along.
The analyst further explained that revenue generation is not by increasing tax payments on citizens, but by maintaining a standard way of generating statistical methods. He stressed that effective management of the tax system is a major solution to increase the value of Naira.
In a particular thing about sharing of VAT, it shouldn't come in. Myself, I cannot go there because not part of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is inequality of the widow's mite tax we are paying in Nigeria. Nigerians, the really rich are not paying tax. It was the poor, vulnerable people, the wage earners that are paying tax because you can access them. But the really rich people who are supposed to have paid the tax that will take care of this cannot have been assessed. Some of them will pay their way. That's a very wrong thing. But if you have tax inspector, it will make somebody to be the job to be prudent, and the people will be on their toes, particularly the federal revenue.
Oji also called for the creation and deployment of tax inspector without border in Nigeria, as it will aid the country's quest to meet international standard of tax payment. Oji stressed the need for the establishment of the Independent Revenue Inspectorate Agency of Nigeria, IRIN, which will enable Nigeria to be integrated into the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) and UNDP tax inspectors without borders (TIWD), automatic information sharing against illicit financial flow, transfer pricing, base erosion, and all manner of international tax frauds.
This is the area I'm even hammering on. Look, we don't need to even add more VAT. It could be that 7% as it's already. Because if what I'm asking government to do, if they do it, we'll go back to even 4% or 5%. We have what we call market size advantage in Nigeria. Nigeria is very large. If you check how much we are paying based on our number, you will see that we make more money by broad-based taxation. A very cheap VAT.
The acting chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluyede, has resumed duties at the Army Headquarters, Abuja. The acting chief of Army Staff was appointed by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, on Wednesday, 30 October 2024, in acting capacity, pending the return of the substantive COS, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who is currently on medical leave. At the formal taking over ceremony at the Defense Headquarters, Abuja, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, emphasized that the appointment aligns with Armed Forces Act of 2004.
Our brother and our friend, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, went on his leave and went for his medical checkup and had reasons to stay behind to continue to do his medical checkup. It is our prayers that he will get better, fit enough to resume back as the Chief of Army Staff. In the interim, based on the powers conferred on the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, he has decided and directed and appointed an acting Chief of Army Staff with the full powers and responsibilities of the Chief of Army Staff until the President decides otherwise. So for us as professionals, we are to continue with our task ahead. No gap to be left based on the challenges we have in the country. And it's in the wisdom of the President and Commander-in-Chief that today we present the authority to the acting Chief of Army Staff for him to have full control and command of the Nigerian Army.
In his remarks, the acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluyede, expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for finding him worthy of the appointment and prayed for the speedy recuperation of the COAS, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. The acting COS has solicited support from all personnel of the armed forces and Nigerians in general in tackling the security challenges bedeviling the country. He pledged his loyalty to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I wish to thank God for the privilege to be here today. I also want to thank Mr. President for finding me worthy to discharge this responsibility as the acting Chief of Army Staff in this particular, peculiar and sober situation we find ourselves as a nation, as an army. As highlighted by the presidency in the announcement, my appointment as acting Chief of Army Staff is simply to hold sway while Lieutenant General T. Lagbaja, our Medical Chief of Army Staff, is a way to enable him to take sufficient time to get necessary medical attention and recuperate, and that I intend to do with the whole of my heart.
Following a comprehensive security debriefing, the National Security Advisor, Madam Nuhu Ribadu, on Friday handed over Dr. Gandhi Atbukola and their nephew to her family in the presence of NMA President for rehabilitation and reintegration. The handover ceremony, which included representatives from the Defense Headquarters, Ministry of Health, Nigerian Medical Association, and the National Association of Resident Doctors, provided an opportunity for security personnel to highlight the efforts made to secure Dr. Ganiat's release. They also discussed related operations, including the recent rescue of abducted medical students. In his remarks, Dr. Audu expressed his gratitude to the security agencies under the leadership of the NSA for their efforts, while urging them to intensify actions to ensure the release of other Nigerians, including medical doctors who remain in captivity. The family extended their appreciation to the federal government, NMA, NARD, and all Nigerian doctors for their unwavering support during this challenging time. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted bail to over 100 #bad governance protesters and the sum of 10 million naira each with sureties. Justice Obiora Egwatu granted the bail to the defendants, who are Muslim minors, after they were pleaded not guilty to the charges bordering on alleged plot to overthrow President Bola Tinubu. Our correspondent Kunle Ojo compiled this report.
There was a mild drama at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Friday when 4 minors among 114 protesters detained for participating in the End Bad Governance movement collapsed before the trial began. When the charges bordering on treasonable felony filed against them by the Nigerian police was read, they all pleaded not guilty and their lawyers promptly filed application for their bail.
The question now comes to how can a 12, 13, 14-year-old boy who is looking very frail and malnourished attempt to overthrow the presidency? That is a matter for another day. But we have filed an application contesting and challenging the powers of the courts to try these young persons.
Yaya Bello, 6 months later, has not been arrested. Then you arrest our children. You keep them in custody for 93 days. These children, they are already looking like they have kwashoko. They are malnourished. You understand? Then you cannot keep them in custody for this long. This is the reasons why our rating in the Human Rights Index is poor, is bad.
Prosecution counsel, who did not oppose granting of bail, however, stated the reason why many of the defendants that look malnourished are being prosecuted.
And the court has graciously granted a bail on a very, very stringent conditions, which they are to be remanded in Kuje Correctional Centers, while others are to be remanded in the Boston Trading, pending the hearing of the substantive charge.
These boys were arrested in Kaduna and Zaria. Imagine the level we find ourselves now. Do you know how much it costs us to be at this level of the democracy in this country? These young boys are trying to destabilize Nigeria using the Russian flags and other countries, calling on the military to remove our president. Is it fair?
After listening to the argument from both parties, Justice Egwata granted defendants bail and ordered that adults among them should be remanded in Kuje prison, while the minors should be remanded in the Bosa home of the Correctional Service. The defendants who were arrested in some states in the northern part of the country have been prosecuted for allegedly burning police stations, the High Court complex, the National Communication Commission complex during the End Bad Governance protest. From the Federal High Court in Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Not to other stories. The House of Representatives has expressed concern over the life-threatening state of the Suleja-Lambata-Bida Road in Niger State and called for immediate action on the part of the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Road Maintenance Agency. The House said the federal agencies to immediately deploy resources to complement the efforts of the Niger State government, which has so far constituted a task force to elevate the situation and restore the free flow of traffic. This followed the resolution at plenary arising from a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by 10 lawmakers from Niger State led by Seydou Musa Abdullahi. The House wants the Ministry of Works to conduct an emergency assessment of the condition of the road, engage the contractor handling the project to ascertain reasons for delay in execution in a bid to prefer long-term solutions to prevent future occurrences. They also want the ministry to collaborate with relevant stakeholders, including Niger State government, security agencies and transport unions, to ensure sustained effective traffic management. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. The National Association of University Students NAUS announces plans to issue of its planned nationwide protest over persistent power outages crippling university campuses across the country. Details of these are not coming up to the break. Please stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Still with the growing chambers, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has raised concern over Nigeria's high malnutrition rate, particularly affecting children and hindering physical and cognitive development, educational growth and economic potential. Speaking at the launch of the local organizing committee of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu has emphasized the essential role of African youth in achieving Agenda 2063, the African Union's vision for an inclusive, prosperous and peaceful continent. Speaking via Zoom at the
entrepreneurship prowess.
As we celebrate the African Youth Day today, let us not only acknowledge this gold mine, but let's commit to digging deeper. Build a nation and a continent where young people have freedom to dream.
The leadership of the House of Representatives Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and Independent Corrupt Practices and other related offences have been charged to beam their searchlight on the abnormalities being perpetrated at the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission. The Coalition of Civil Society Groups on Transparency and Accountability at a news conference in Abuja said the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission (NAC), which handles every sensitive assignment of bilateral, multilateral and indeed international importance to Nigeria, has become a shadow of itself. Speaking on behalf of other members of the group, Comrade Igwe Udo Manta and Denise Momo Prince said without equivocation, the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission (NAC) was under a heavy administrative assault from September 3, 2021, when Professor Ahmed was appointed by the then President Muhammadu Buhari to September 3, 2024, when his tenure ended. The body demanded the release and has also come up from the investigation concluded by EFCC undertaking the agency. It maintained that the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission remains a place for the highest level of focus on character antecedent and people who could easily compromise could lead to problems of international catastrophe.
Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission, NAEC, which handles very sensitive assignment of bilateral, multilateral, and indeed international importance to Nigeria. It is therefore a place for the highest level of focus, dedication, decency, and systemic hygiene, allowing persons of questionable character, antecedents, and people who can easily compromise to lead the place to head such agency could lead to problems of international catastrophe. The government must take particular note of this point going forward.
ICPC, they should do their job. A petition has been submitted, and up till now, nobody has investigated, and we have not having a precise response from the House of Reps or the ICPC.
Now to other stories, the Ogun State government has asked security operatives to step up their investigation towards unraveling both the immediate and remote causes of the death of a pupil of Obada Grammar School in Imekwafon local government area of the state. The State Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, made the call while on a condolence visit to the family. Correspondent John Felix sent in this report.
The death of Monday Arijo has left family members in shock, alleged to have died after a corporal punishment meted out to him last week. Leading a delegation on a condolence visit, the State Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology expressed their heartfelt condolence with the pledge of government to support the family during this challenging period. A family member, Sheyi Oluleye, gives an account of what transpired on that fateful day.
When we heard that Monday Arijo died, what killed him? They said that teacher beat him and gave him punishment to the extent that he fell down and fainted. What happened? That's why he bought the basket. So maybe one of the students in the class, money was SS2. So he replied that it's not our money you used to buy the basket. And the principal replied, who's that person? Who speak? Nobody answered. She went back to her office. She started crying. So maybe a teacher came in and met her crying. Madam, why are you crying? He said, so what he did, the student didn't appreciate her. So that's why he was crying. He said, okay. They now mobilize the other teachers. So they now move out the students. Okay, let's say students, come out. They line up the students, starting beating them according to the report. Okay. So when it is Monday's turn, Monday said, don't beat me. I'm not the one that talk. So after beating them, so they now give them punishment that you should go and start frog dog or whatever. So maybe they say 164 or 162 rounds. So one of the students at us yesterday told us that when it is getting to 50 rounds, they stop them. That okay, hold on.
Done with the visit, the commissioner and his entourage moved to the school, Obada Grammar School. With the school being shut, the commissioner however warned teachers against corporal punishments in schools across the state.
We don't know the underlying conditions of the students. Some of the students, they come to school, probably they have not eaten or something like that. So we have always told principals, head teachers and teachers to avoid the use of corporal punishment. As trained teachers, there are a number of ways they can actually discipline children. We're not saying that there should be indiscipline in school, no. We are saying that there are a number of other ways through which you can actually discipline a child without necessarily engaging in a corporal punishment.
While announcing the constitution of a commission of inquiry into the incident, the commissioner also asked for due diligence by security operatives towards getting to the root of the death of the boy.
What government has done is also to set up a committee to look into the remote courses and all other circumstances that surrounds what has happened. Because whenever anything happens, the most important thing is for us to be able to learn from a particular situation. Not only about Obada Grammar School, but also how do we extend and extrapolate whatever we have seen into other schools, and also how do we incorporate this into the training that we continue to give our teachers, even those of them that are in service.
Meanwhile, a postmortem is being conducted by the Federal Medical Center in Abeokuta, the state capital, on the late student to determine the cause of death. From Obada in Ogun State, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
Now to the story teased earlier. The National Association of University Students (NAUS) has announced plans to shelve its planned nationwide protest over the persistent power outages crippling university campuses across the country. It also avowed this decision to reinstate its call for the immediate sack of leadership of Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) and Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) on the ground of their failure to maintain a stable power supply and effectively manage the national grid. The president of NAUS, Comrade Josiah Uche, and his deputy, Comrade Nishak Nwankwo, announced the decision after an emergency meeting with the managing director of TCN, Sule Abdulaziz, in Abuja on Friday. They said it is pertinent to abort their actions after being well informed about the issues surrounding the power blackout and TCN prompt response to ensuring power was restored to the affected part of the country. The students, however, charged TCN to intensify effort in restoring power to remaining affected part and also provide an alternative means of power transmission to reduce the frequent recurrence of grid disturbances in Nigeria.
We are agitated. We have also met with the management where we have submitted our request, and in the discussion we discussed with the management vividly, and they promised us they will meet our demand as soon as possible. And we told them if the demand is not being met within this short period of time, we'll still come back with our full force again.
The challenges they are facing, and we also have been able to propose some solutions to them. And talking about the issue of lack of electricity, we were told there that the issues they are experiencing range from banditry to vandalism to insecurity, basically. And most of the time, when they have these issues, they swing into action within minutes. One of their proactive measures to ensure that the transmission lines are safeguarded, they have contracted the work of the repair of the power lines to the military engineers.
Ogun State Police Commander has revealed that thorough investigation is ongoing to arrive at the circumstances that led to the death of Master Monday Arijo, a student of Obada Grammar School, Obada, in Mekwafon local government area of the state. Commissioner of Police in the state, Abiodun Alamutu, disclosed this to journalists on Friday at the State Police Headquarters in Ilewe, Abeokuta. He stressed that the autopsy has been done on the deceased, but requires detailed examination to synchronize all findings before the public can be addressed. He, however, assured members of the public of a thorough investigation.
We have actually gone far in the investigation, but the only update I will give you is that most of the things that are being relayed on the social media, though I find them frivolous, but I don't want to be preemptive of the investigation. In the next few days, we give you a full update on the outcome of our investigation so far. But for additionally, I want to confirm to you that autopsy has been concluded and the corpse has been released to the family. The autopsy will be a final proof of what the outcome of our investigation.
Rivers State government has debunked the viral news on social media that the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, is shutting down NNPC Limited and oil companies in the state over the court order, urging the CBN to stop allocation to the state. The state government, in a statement by the Commissioner of Information, Joe Johnson, made available to newsmen, said the report was not only false, but the propaganda from the imagination of the ardent enemies of the state. According to him, the story was circulated by an inconsequential and unverified medium whose main objective is to heat up the polity and cause unnecessary debate to distract Governor Fubara. Governor Fubara, according to the Information Commissioner, is committed to the rule of law and does not rely on unconventional and crude approaches to respond to matters of governance. He urged Rivers people and Nigerians to discontinue the scrupulous and fake report, saying Governor Fubara at no time contemplated or directed such needless order of shutting down the economy for any reason. Governor of Bayelsa State Oyediri has said that his administration has made giant strides in bringing dividends to democracy to the people. Governor Diri made the disclosure at the State House of Assembly in Yenagoa while presenting the 2025 budget to the House. According to the governor, the 2024 budget has surpassed 70%, as he stressed on some of his landmark achievements.
Implementation of the 2024 budget, our performance is still above 70% as at today. We have made significant strides in almost every sector of our economy. Permit me, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, to highlight some very critical programs. The 21-kilometer first phase of Nembe Brass Road with 10 bridges is progressing as planned and has reached an advanced stage.
On the 2025 budget tagged Assured Prosperity, Governor Diri gave a breakdown of the 689 billion naira proposed budget. Responding, the Speaker, Bayelsa House of Assembly, Honorable Abraham Nkobere, said the House will follow due diligence in ensuring speedy passage of the appropriation bill.
To you, a total budget size of 689 billion 440 million 348,916 naira 30 kobo. Total recurrent expenditure 263 billion 375,129,712 naira 64.
Now we move to the international desk for the news. This is news from the international scene. More than 200 people are now confirmed to have died from storms hitting Spain, and the rescue mission continues for survivors. People have told of horrific scenes, especially in the Valencia area, where 202 of the fatalities from the total of 205 in Spain have come from. A resident of Alfafa, one of the worst affected towns in the south of the Valencia region, described it as a disaster. The town's mayor, Juan Ramon Atsuara, said the aid provided is not enough for residents who have been living in an extreme situation. More red warnings are in place in southern Spain, where heavy rain continues to fall. Rescue workers have mounted a huge response amid raised fears of further flooding in the hours to come. A red alert had been issued this morning for the Huelva region of Andalusia, with torrential rains having fallen through the night, and people are being urged not to leave their homes. Meanwhile, in other areas where the floodwater levels have dropped, locals have started to take stock, beginning the long process of clearing the wreckage and grieving for the dead. More horrors have emerged from the debris and ubiquitous layer of mud left by walls of water that produced Spain's deadliest natural disaster in living memory. At least 7 people, including 5 school children, have been killed and 23 injured in a bombing near a girls' school in southwestern Pakistan, officials said. Friday's attack targeted police guarding a polio vaccination drive in Mustang, a town in Balochistan province. The target was a police van which was going to pick up a polio vaccination team, Senior Superintendent of Police Rahmatullah revealed to newsmen. 1 police officer and a shopkeeper were also killed in the explosion. Senior police officer Abdul Fattah told newsmen. The blast was believed to have been caused by an improvised device attached to a motorcycle parked near the school. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but Islamabad had frequently blamed the Taliban government in neighboring Afghanistan for failing to root out attacks on Pakistan from across the border. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned the attack. On Tuesday, a policeman was killed in an attack on a health office that manages door-to-door polio vaccination campaigns. The attack have coincided with Pakistan's 3rd nationwide polio campaign, which was launched on Monday amid a significant rise in the case of the viral disease. 4 Thai agricultural workers have been killed in Hezbollah rocket attacks on northern Israel as the Israeli military hit Lebanon's capital with multiple airstrikes. Posted on social media platform X on Friday, Thai Foreign Minister Marisanga Mpongsa said he was deeply saddened by the death close to the town of Metula, adding that another Thai citizen was injured. Thailand continues to strongly urge all parties to return to the path of peace in the name of innocent civilians gravely impacted by this prolonged and deepening conflict, Maris added. Israeli medics said that 3 Israeli civilians were also killed in rocket barrage from Lebanon, the deadliest cross-border attack since the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah escalated in August. An estimated 30,000 Thai nationals live in Israel, where salaries are much higher than in the Southeast Asian country. Thai nationals in Israel have been hit since the start of Israel's war in Gaza last October. More than 24 Thais were believed to have been captured during the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel that month, and 23 were released from captivity during a brief truce in November 2023. Still on the international scene, a drug trafficking-related shooting in the western French city of Poitiers escalated into a brawl on Thursday night, potentially involving up to 600 people, French authorities say. 5 people were seriously injured in a drive-by shooting at a restaurant in the city, including a 5-year-old boy who was left in critical conditions after being shot in the head. Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau described the incident as an alarming sign of drug-related violence escalating in the country. It follows a shooting in the northwestern city of Rennes last week, which killed a 5-year-old boy. These shootings are not happening in South America, they are happening in Rennes, in Poitiers, in this part of western France, was known for its tranquility, Retailleau lamented. The mayor of Poitiers called it a new episode of violence unacceptable for the neighborhood. The drug trade in France has long been viewed as centered in the southern port city of Marseille, where at least 17 drug-related killings have been reported since the start of the year. Influence of drug trafficking in France in recent years has spread beyond the main hubs of Marseille and Paris to medium-sized towns and even rural areas. Voters in Botswana have rejected the country's long-serving governing party in a result that marks a political earthquake in the diamond-rich southern African nation. The Botswana Democratic Party (BDP), in power since independence in 1966, has won only 4 parliamentary seats as of Friday morning. It will be replaced by the umbrella of Democratic Change (UDC). In a phone call to UDC leader Duma Boko, President Mugwetsi Maisise conceded and congratulated his opponent. Despite overseeing a dramatic change in Botswana, recent poor economic growth and high unemployment dented the BDP's popularity. The UDC has won 31 seats according to the latest tally, which means that it has an outright majority in parliament. It has pledged to adopt a new economic strategy that creates well-paying jobs and distributes wealth that empowers all citizens. Buberego Mkawana, just elected as a UDC MP, said many young people in Botswana remain jobless despite high deposit of diamond and a fairly thriving tourism industry in the country. Lastly, on the international scene, jobs growth in the U.S. slowed sharply in October as hurricanes and strike disrupted the economy. Employers added 12,000 jobs last month, much lower than the 223,000 created in September, according to the Labor Department. But while hiring slowed, the unemployment rate held steady at 4.1%. The closely watched figures, which gave an indication about the strength of the U.S. economy, are the last to be released before Americans head to the poll on Tuesday to elect the country's new president. The Labor Department said healthcare and government roles continued their rising trend last month, but fewer new manufacturing jobs were added due to strike activity. The 12,000 jobs added to payroll is much lower than economists expected. Economists polled by newsmen had forecast payrolls rising by 113,000. And that's it from the international scene. Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Hello, welcome to Entertainment News. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Here are the stories on Entertainment News today.
Controversial cross-dresser Bobrisky has been rearrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, following his recent release from detention. Gisville recalls that Bobrisky was rearrested by the Nigerian Immigration Service after allegations of attempting to flee Nigeria to evade bribery investigations. Earlier this week, the cross-dresser was released from detention and took to his Instagram page to share a new look, accompanied by a bold assertion. In a series of Instagram posts, Bobrisky announced that he has been rearrested by EFCC at the airport. The self-acclaimed mummy of Lagos alleged that he sustained injuries during the arrest and shared a video to validate his claims against EFCC. Controversial critic Very Dark Man has reportedly been arrested and detained by the Nigerian police force over an unauthorized use of police uniform. Earlier, it was reported that Very Dark Man tendered a public apology after being summoned by the Nigerian police over a video showing him wearing a police uniform. According to Coco P, a close associate of Very Dark Man, his arrest stems from an ongoing investigation into the viral video. Coco P alleged that Very Dark Man would be charged in court tomorrow, expressing outrage over Nigeria's judiciary system. Additionally, he appealed for support from well-meaning Nigerians and fans regarding Very Dark Man's arrest and detention. Nigerian music star Paul Okoye, better known as Rude Boy, and his partner Ife Ifoma welcomes their first child, marking their entry into parenthood. Recall that recently they made headlines following reports that they welcomed their first child, a baby girl in the United States. Meanwhile, Rude Boy has confirmed the news via his latest post on Instagram, sending fans a frenzy of excitement. In his post, he described embracing fatherhood as the joyous and sweetest moment of his life. Rude Boy's post was accompanied by a heartwarming video offering a glimpse into the newborns surrounded by friends and loved ones. Meanwhile, congratulatory messages have begun to pour in for the couple on the arrival of their first child and their entry into parenthood. The beautiful Nollywood actress Ufoma McDermott has opened up on life-challenging moments she encountered for the past 12 years. Sitting with the media personality Jude City, on the program with Judy, Ufoma McDermott disclosed how she lost her younger brother to chronic kidney disease and how she herself was diagnosed of the same ailment. In 2023, the actress was diagnosed with the stage 3 kidney disease after battling with it for over 12 years. And recently, Ufoma was diagnosed with the 4th stage of the kidney disease, which is the final stage. In a short clip shared online, Ufoma McDermott, who has been private on social media, following her ordeals, reveals how she was down during the process. She expressed her wish to leave because of her children. According to her, she defied her doctor's instruction on rest and went about her job, and how she could not move for 6 months. She was told to slow down at work and rest, but she thought she had more time and negotiated with her doctors. The delay turned out to be costly. She says as it was a result of drug abuse, ingesting too much of painkillers. Though she began the battle for her life, where there was zero room for error, for 6 months, she could not move, she could not work, she could not add weight. She actually thought the end has come. The actor and producer shared how she found her way back from stage 4 kidney disease, how it changed how she lived her life, how she managed her public career while dealing with this in private, and why this life-changing experience has transformed the way she lives her life today. Also, for the first time, she confirmed that over the past few years, she had lived with her family abroad while acting and producing in Nigeria, and how a very private life has served her very well.
And that'll be all on entertainment news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rose Blossom. Bye for now.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Ereba Miss Salako. Happy New Month and have a pleasant weekend.